Welcome to the presentation of Platform Transition. We are Sage Intacct Marketplace Partner, whose mission is to make comprehensive data migration to Sage Intacct more affordable, fast, and easy. My name is Hugh Stewart, and I'm the president of the company, and I'm pleased to share with you the current offerings that we have for the Sage Intacct Marketplace. They include the multi-dimensional data conversion solution, which is our general ledger detail historical migration, the duplicate suppression system, which allows for master data cleanup for multiple entities who are looking to unify their vendor, customer, employee, item, and other data element lists as they move multiple entities into the Sage Intacct system. The simplified subledger conversion process, which is a process that allows us to be able to move data into the subledger historically from other legacy systems. The monthly migration service, which allows us to be able to move data monthly for companies that do not necessarily wish to operate on Intacct immediately, but simply wish to have their reporting information in a larger framework or in a larger conglomerate. And we have a beta process called the contracts migration process, which is working with customers to help bring their data into the contracts module to allow them to be able to go live to be in compliance with newly changing regulations. Let's begin. So we want to talk about the multi-dimensional data conversion solution. What is it? This process allows you to be able to migrate your detailed historical transactions from any legacy system and import them into Sage Intacct. This is all happening at the general ledger level, and it allows you to be able to move dimensionalized history as detailed as necessary, just simply placing it on the GL. It is fast in that you're able to migrate all of your detailed GL, AP, and AR legacy data in days and weeks, not months. And it's designed to be able to facilitate your go live on time. It's flexible in that we're able to come from almost any legacy system, but the current system is optimized for QuickBooks. And what we've seen is that for VARs and for implementation specialists, we assist them in helping customers to save about 80% of their time that they would normally devote to data migration. It's generally one of the most underestimated time sucks of all of the processes during the implementation process, and we are happy and proud that we serve a very distinct role in making that process a lot easier for customers. It's turnkey in that we provide auto templating for vendor, customer, employee lists, and we also provide services to help create mapping for projects and other things that need to be done as part of the implementation process in historical data migration, in allowing customers to very quickly and easily get their data into the system and get the reports that they're looking for out of the system. And working with your implementation specialist, you are able to use our dimensional capabilities to optimize the dashboards that you're looking to design in Intacct. One of the benefits being that because you're able to perform these processes on historical data, you don't have to actually wait to go live in Intacct to see the power of the system as it interacts with the way you see your financial organization running. Let's talk about the duplicate suppression system, the benefit of which is that we provide master data cleanup as you move from whatever legacy system you are in to Intacct. This is a sub-process of our general ledger details conversion process that grew out because we had enough customers asking us to please help them clean up their duplicate data, their vendors that have multiple versions of themselves either in the same company or across multiple companies that they're looking to move into Intacct. And it became such a popular request that we've actually turned it into its own service and utility. So it's a sub-process of the MDCS, which is now being offered as a standalone service to help customers create clean, non-duplicated master vendor, customer, employee, and item lists. Who is it for? So if you have a multi-entity migration project and there are duplicates populating your vendor, customer, and employee and item lists, this may be a good process for you to consider. Examples include if you have a vendor that's named Blue Ocean and the Blue Ocean restaurant. And if those two somehow made it into your vendor list and they are the same vendor, but they would be separated by hundreds, if not thousands of records, our software is able to detect those character strings, suggest that there's a ranking score, that there's a high likelihood that those could be duplicates, and allow you to be able to modify in one step where all the data mapping from those two separate legacy elements should go, and potentially point them to one ID in Sage Intacct. And it also allows you to set up your templates at the same time, allowing you to be able to streamline exactly how fast that can be done. Inquire for one of our demo videos to show you just how that software works. Second, if you want to create clean master templates for your multi-entity shared environment, but you believe you can only clean your list manually and the task just seems daunting, we're helping folks simply blast through the cleanup of their vendor, customer, employee, and item lists by simply using this and being able to get onto Intacct faster. One of the beauties that this particular process works with respect to VARs and IAPs is that it allows them to keep their customer producing their templates on time or in a timely manner, or allowing their customer to delegate a significant amount of that work to a third party, i.e. us, and then allow for the customer to simply approve or edit the work that has been started on their master lists. Let's talk about the simplified subledger conversion process. This is a historical migration process that was born out of our GL detail process, but instead of loading all the detail at the level of the general ledger, we have optimized the process to be able to load the detail at the level of the subledger, in this case, the accounts payable and accounts receivable subledgers. The outcome is that it allows for people to be able to look at those two subledger modules in Intacct and not be able to detect that any other system had ever been used for what we call the active migration period, meaning the amount of data or the swath of the time frame that the data falls in. For the purposes of the AP and the AR modules, seek to create the appearance and the record keeping as if Intacct were being used the entire time. That's the level of detail that we're able to get and build in history in the subledger process. It is more expensive than the GL detail process, obviously, and we normally recommend that only if you have a very specific use case that you go forward with a subledger migration. But for the people who need it, we are pleased to offer it from QuickBooks Desktop, from Mass 90, and now from QuickBooks Online. So to quickly go through this slide, all the company's historical data populates the AP and AR subledgers, and we have a GL carve out for anything that doesn't belong in those two subledgers, which allows for you to be able to have better reporting in the different modules inside Intacct. You are truly able, if the swath of data is all you need, to let your legacy system go once you complete this particular migration, because we are able to grab all the data that's necessary to basically build those subledgers and have you replicate the reports that you had in your original legacy system. Let's talk quickly about the monthly migration service. The monthly migration service is a really great interim solution if you want to move detailed transactions from a variety of legacy systems into Sage Intacct for reporting or reconciliation requirements, but your individual companies that are reporting don't necessarily want to or can't be operating in Intacct at the time that you want to be able to report on the data. So what we've done is we've created a system that allows for you to be able to pull legacy information from your historical system, from your legacy system, bring it into the framework of a larger Intacct environment, and not necessarily have to have the sub-company implement Intacct until it's absolutely ready to do so. Let's talk a little bit more about who that monthly migration service is for. So do you have a multi-entity migration project and not all of your entities are ready or able to make the transition by your go live date? We're able to do a migration of their file and on an ongoing basis, based on your monthly reporting requirement, bring the data in from their live environment in the legacy system to get it completed and reconciled and reporting in Intacct. Do you have acquisitions? This is a very popular option for hedge funds and companies that have a very, very fast acquisition strategy. If you have acquisitions or portfolio companies that you wish to get regular reporting on in an Intacct environment, because that's where the reporting base is for all of your companies, but you don't want to spend the money or have the time to build a dedicated API or some kind of utility to automatically port the data between your legacy systems, we are a great affordable solution to basically get data in once a month while you figure out how you want to bring that company onto Intacct. Or maybe they never come onto Intacct. Maybe they stay where they are and they just simply engage a very simple and straightforward process to get their data reporting into the bigger Sage Intacct environment. So the process works by having our internal team scope and assess legacy source data, allowing us to be able to understand exactly where your data is coming from. You map it one time, we bring it over, and then on a monthly basis with a standard monthly recurring fee, we'll just simply process your monthly submissions, get your vendors, customers, employees, items, different elements created in Intacct to support a monthly import as the business that is in the legacy system continues to grow and potentially change. We manage all of those data elements coming into Intacct accurately and making sure that that data is consistent with whatever reports are being provided to us from that original legacy system. So we are very, very happy to provide that service because it is something that we have been asked to do quite a lot, and we have a lot of customers currently that engage in this process. And then finally, we have our beta contracts migration solution. This program migrates information and settings from a variety of legacy systems to support the Sage Intacct contracts module. This one is a prototype phase because there are so many different approaches to how people historically have approached their contracts via order entry. Some have used systems like Zuora, and they have Excel spreadsheets, or they necessarily have places where they've never done any appropriate reporting. This is a program that allows for us to work with the customer to understand where their data is coming from, reconcile it prior to conversion, get through all the details, understand the outliers and the exceptions for upload, create the contract headers, the line items, and the billing schedules that allow for the data to be able to be walked forward appropriately, and then actually process it so that at the end of the day you will have the appropriate reporting requirements that allow you to be able to move forward and be in compliance with what's necessary for your business. So if you're interested, please reach out and let us know that you'd like to be considered for our beta program. We are continuing to build our library of what's possible and how we approach the intake and discovery of information to compile it and properly reconcile it prior to the contracts migration process. And with that, I thank you for your time and attention, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.